Cassel is a town located on the Fulda River in northern Hesse, Germany. It is the administrative seat of the Regierungsbezirk Kassel and the Kreis of the same name and has approximately 195,000 inhabitants. The former capital of the state of Hesse-Kassel has many palaces and parks. One of these is the Bergpark Wilhelmshöhe paragraph E, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Cassel is also known for the documenta exhibitions of contemporary art. History. The city's name is derived from the ancient Castellum Catorum, a castle of the Chatti, a German tribe that had lived in the area since Roman times. Cassel was first mentioned in 913 AD, as the place where two deeds were signed by King Conrad I. The place was called ๊kasəl and was a fortification at a bridge crossing the Fulda River. A deed from 1189 certifies that Cassel had city rights, but the date when they were granted is not known. In 1567, the Landgraviate of Hesse, until then centered in Marburg, was divided among 4 sons, with Hesse-Kassel becoming one of its successor states. Cassel was its capital and became a center of Calvinist Protestantism in Germany. Strong fortifications were built to protect the Protestant stronghold against Catholic enemies. In 1685, Cassel became a refuge for 1,700 Huguenots who found shelter in the newly established borough of Oberneustadtl. Landgrave Charles, who was responsible for this humanitarian act, also ordered the construction of the octagon and the orangery. In the late 18th century, Hesse-Kassel became infamous for selling mercenaries to the British Crown to help suppress the American Revolution and to finance the construction of palaces and the Landgrave's opulent lifestyle. In the early 19th century, the brothers Grimm lived in Cassel. They collected and wrote most of their fairy tales there. At that time, around 1803, the Landgravate was elevated to a principality and its ruler to Prince Elector. Shortly after, it was annexed by Napoleon and in 1807 it became the capital of the short-lived Kingdom of Westphalia under Napoleon's brother Jar copyright Rami. The electorate was restored in 1813. Having sided with Austria in the Austro-Prussian War to gain supremacy in Germany, the principality was annexed by Prussia in 1866. The Prussian administration united Nassau, Frankfurt and Hesse-Kassel into the new Prussian province of Hesse-Nassau. Cassel ceased to be a princely residence, but soon developed into a major industrial center, as well as a major railway junction. In 1870, after the Battle of Sedan, Napoleon III was sent as a prisoner to the castle of Wilhelmshöhe above the city. During World War I the German military headquarters were located in the castle of Wilhelmshöhe. In the late 1930s Nazis destroyed Heinrich H1-BSCH's Cassel synagogue. During World War II, Cassel was the headquarters for Germany's Wahlkreis 9, and a local subcamp of Dachau concentration camp provided forced labor for the Henschel facilities. The most severe bombing of Cassel in World War II destroyed 90% of the downtown area, some 10,000 people were killed, and 150,000 were made homeless. Most of the casualties were civilians or wounded soldiers recuperating in local hospitals, whereas factories survived the attack generally undamaged. Karl Gerland replaced the regional Gauleiter, Karl Weinrich, soon after the raid. The Allied ground advance into Germany reached Cassel at the beginning of April 1945. The U.S. 80th Infantry Division captured Cassel in bitter house-to-house fighting during April 4, 1945, which included numerous German Panzer Grenadier counterattacks, and resulted in further widespread devastation to bombed and unbombed structures alike. Post-war, most of the ancient buildings were not restored, and large parts of the city area were completely rebuilt in the style of the 1950s. A few historic buildings, however, such as the Museum Fridericianum, were restored. In 1949, the interim parliament eliminated Cassel in the first round as a city to become the provisional capital of the Federal Republic of Germany. In 1964, the town hosted the 4th Hessentag State Festival. In 1972 the Chancellor of West Germany Willy Brandt and the Prime Minister of the German Democratic Republic Willi Stoph met in Wilhelmshöhe Castle for negotiations between the two German states. In 1991 the Central Rail Station moved from Hauptbahnhof to Cassel Wilhelmshöhe paragraph E. Culture. In 1558, the first German observatory was built in Cassel, followed in 1604 by the Atomium, the first permanent German theatre building. The old building is today the Natural History Museum, and the now called Staatstheater Kassel is located in a nearby building that was constructed in the 1950s. Since 1927, Cassel has been home to Bar Currency Rheinritter, one of the world's most important music publishers. Since 1955 the Documenta, an international exhibition of modern and contemporary art, has been held regularly in Cassel. The Documenta now takes place every 5 years. The last exhibition, documenta, was held in 2012. As a result of the Documenta 6, Cassel became the first town in the world to be illuminated by laser beams at night. This laser installation is nowadays still visible at weekends. Other Documenta remnants can be found in many places in Cassel. Among those the 7,000 Oaks, a work of land art by the German artist Joseph Beuys. Demographics, sites in Cassel. The bombing raids of 1943 destroyed 90% of the city centre. The city was almost completely rebuilt during the 1950s and is a combination of renovated or reconstructed old buildings and architecture of the 1950s. Outside of the city centre, the suburbs are dominated by 19th-century architecture. The oldest monument is the Truselturm. The Bra-1/4-Kirche and the Church of St. Martin are also, in part, of medieval origin. The towers of St. Martin are from the 1950s. Bergpark Wilhelmshöhe Paragraph E. The complex includes Wilhelmshöhe Paragraph E Palace, the Hercules Monument, and the Lions Castle. Wilhelmshöhe Paragraph E Palace above the city, was built in 1786 by Landgrave Wilhelm IX of Hesse-Kassel. The palace is now a museum and houses an important collection of Greco-Roman antiques and a fine gallery of paintings comprising the second largest collection of Rembrandts in Germany. It is surrounded by the beautiful Bergpark Wilhelmshöhe Paragraph E with many appealing sights. The complex was named a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2013. The Hercules Monument is a huge octagonal stone structure carrying a giant replica of Hercules Farnese. From its base down to Wilhelmshöhe Paragraph E Palace runs a long set of artificial cascades which delight visitors during the summer months. Every Sunday and Wednesday afternoon at 14:30 the famous water features take place. They start at the Octagon and during a 1-hour walk through the park visitors can follow the water's way until they reach the lake of the Castle Wilhelmshöhe Paragraph E, where a fountain of about 50 meters marks the end of the spectacle. The La Paragraph Weinberg is a replica of a medieval castle, also built during the reign of Wilhelm IX. After the Franco-Prussian War of 1870-71 Napola copyright on 3 was imprisoned in Wilhelmshöhe Paragraph E. In 1918 Wilhelmshöhe Paragraph E became the seat of the German Army High Command. It was there that the military commanders Hindenburg and Ludendorff prepared the German capitulation. Staatspark Karlsruhe, another large park and also part of the European Garden Heritage Network, is the Karlsruhe along the Fulda River. Established in the 16th century, it is famous for the Orangery, a palace built in 1710 as a summer residence for the Landgraves. Today there is also a planetarium in the park, in the Museum of Astronomy and Technology. In addition, the park's Paragraph NFELD contains a small, municipal botanical garden, the Botanische Garten Kassel. Art museums. Europe's first public museum, the Museum Fridericianum, was founded in 1779. By the end of the 19th century the museum held one of the largest collections in the world of watches and clocks. Other art museums in Cassel include, Schloss Wilhelmshöhe Paragraph E, New Gallery, Hessisches Landesmuseum closed, under renovation until 2012. Other museums, Museum of Natural History, Museum of Physics and Astronomy in the Orangery, Marmabad in the Orangery, Caricatura, Museum of Local History, Tram Museum Cassel, Technical Museum and Henschel Museum, Louis Spoon Museum, Brothers Grimm Museum in the Bellevue Palace, Museum for Sepulchral Culture, Sports. Hessen-Kassel is the football club in the city and plays at Stadion. Cassel has a long ice hockey tradition. Cassel Huskies played from 1977 to 2010. Kassel Huskies ran into financial difficulties and dissolved in 2010. The Young Huskies, which is a junior and youth hockey club, decided to enter a men's team in the Hessenliga. This is the 5th division and the lowest men's competition in the state of Hesse. The new club was expecting no more than 3,000 supporters for the first home game in the Hessenliga. However, they had over 5,000 supporters come to watch. Transport. Kassel has 7 tram lines, with trams arriving usually every 15 minutes. The city also operates a light rail state bahn network called Regio Tram using Regio City's low-floor trams which run on both tram and mainline railway tracks with 4 lines. Moreover, a number of low-floor buses complete the Kassel public transport system. The introduction of low-floor buses led to the development of the Kassel curb which improves the accessibility at bus stops. The city is connected to the national rail network at 2 stations, Cassel Central, and Kassel Wilhelmshöhe paragraph E. The traditional central station has been reduced to the status of a regional station since the opening of the Hanover Y1/4 high-speed rail line in 1991 and its station on the high-speed line at which the Intercity Express and Intercity services call. Kassel is connected to the motorways A7, A49 and A44. The city is served by Kassel-Colden Airport. Education and research. University of Kassel. The University of Kassel was founded in 1971, and is the newest university in the state of Hesse. The university offers 12 international master's programs as well as 2 short-term international programs, the Summer University and the Winter University. The Kunsthochschule Kassel is also part of the university. Other institutions: Fraunhofer Institut für Windenergie und Energiesystemtechnik, former Institut für Solarenergieversorgungstechnik, Fraunhofer Institut für Bauphysik-Projektgruppe Kassel, Forschungszentrum für Informationstechnikgestaltung, Internationalzentrum für Hochschulforschung Kassel, Zentrum für Umweltbewusstsein, Center for Interdisciplinary Nanostructure Science and Technology, AG Friedensforschung, Associations, German War Graves Commission, Gesellschaft für Kreisliche Jahrhundertliche Zusammenarbeit Kassel, Spitzenverband der Landwirtschaftlichen Sozialversicherung, Deutsche Rentenversicherung Hessen, Industrie- und Handelskammer Kassel, courts. Several courts are located in Kassel, including Federal Social Court of Germany, Hessische Verwaltungsgericht, Hessisches Finanzgericht, Sozialgericht Kassel, Arbeitsgericht Kassel, Verwaltungsgericht Kassel, Oberlandesgericht Frankfurt-Main Kassel, Landgericht Kassel, Amtsgericht Kassel and Staatsanwaltschaft Kassel. Famous people. Valerius Cordus, physician and botanist who authored one of the greatest pharmacopoeias and one of the most celebrated herbals in history. William IV, Landgrave of Hesse-Kassel, Landgravine Charlotte of Hesse-Kassel, Maria Amalia of Courland, noblewoman, participated in the creation of the park at Cassel. Simon Louis Douay, architect. Rudolf Erich Rasp, a University of Kassel librarian who fled to England after embezzling significant funds from Frederick II, Landgrave of Hesse-Kassel, and wrote The Surprising Adventures of Baron Munchausen. Prince Charles of Hesse-Kassel. Prince Frederick of Hesse-Kassel. Gertrude Elizabeth Mara, operatic soprano. Georg Friedrich Sartorius, research historian and economist. Louis Spoux, the 19th-century composer and violinist, who is commemorated by a museum in the city. Jar copyright Rami Bonaparte, brother of Napoleon Bonaparte, while he was king of Westphalia. The brothers Grimm, Jacob and Wilhelm Grimm, academics, linguists, cultural researchers, and authors who collected folklore and published several collections of it as Grimm's fairy tales. HSH Princess Augusta of Hesse-Kassel, Princess and Landgravine of Hesse-Kassel, consort to Field Marshal HRH the Prince Adolphus Frederick, Duke of Cambridge. Friedrich Almond Strasbourg, merchant, physician, colonist in North America. Direct descendant of Frederick I of Sweden, Albrecht Rosengarten, architect famous for synagogue buildings in Central Europe. Justus Karl Haskell, botanist specializing in pteridophytes, bryophytes and spermatophytes. Louise of Hesse-Kassel, Princess and the Queen Consort to King Christian IX of Denmark. Paul Reuter, founder of the Reuters news agency. Israel Meir Jaffet, who later became choir director in Frankfurt am Main. Adolf Eugen Fick, physiologist. Hugo Wilhelm Arthenal, the artist who designed the Seal of California. Jacob Stilling, ophthalmologist, son of Benedict Stilling, surgeon, and brother of Heinrich Stilling, pathologist. Philipp Skedermann, briefly Germany's chancellor after World War I. Andreas Dippel, operatic tenor. Karl Kieseling, pathologist, Franz Rosenzweig, philosopher. F. W. Murnau, movie director in the silent era. Helmut Haas, who did fundamental work in algebra and number theory. Arnold Bode, architect, painter, designer and founder of the Documenta. Lenny Juncker, athlete who competed mainly in the 100 meters. Hans-Gerrit von Stockhausen, Korvettenker Peter Currency with the Kriegsmarine during World War II. Otto Sander was a German film, theater, and voice actor. Barbara Rudnick, was a German actress. Miriam Zara Uzli, Turkish-German actress. Annika Mihalan, German butterfly and medley swimmer who competed in the 2004 Summer Olympics. Milky Chance, German alternative pop folk rock duo. International relations. Cassel is twinned with, references. External links, Cassel City Panoramas, Panoramic Views and Virtual Tours, official website, Cassel Tourist Board, Cassel Travel Guide from Wiki Voyage, University of Cassel, Street Crime Mapping Cassel 2009, video of the water features.